Welcome back to the MVP podcast, the People's Show, where we talk about the most valuable players in the world of sports. And right now, it doesn't get more valuable than Jurgen Klopp, Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho, Firmino, Mane, Salah. I can go on and on and on, but it doesn't get better than them because Liverpool are officially champions. So what we've done is we've asked some of the Liverpool fans to send in a clip of their favorite moment of the season, and I'm going to slot it in right here.
I think the best Liverpool moment this season, of course, would have to be winning the league last night. Whoever says otherwise is lying.
Now, looking back at it, the most important moment in the whole league was probably Liverpool versus Man City. 3-1, Fabinho scored an absolute screamer, and it's the message that we sent to the rest of the league. You know, it's not luck. We've convincingly dispatched of the defending champions. This moment, definitely Barcelona, Liverpool, Champions League, semi-final, second leg, 4-0.
My favourite moment from this season would have to be the last 5 minutes of the Aston Villa game. Andy Robertson and Sadio Mane. Wow.
Liverpool Football Club, English Premier League champions. Shall I say more? You know what? Emotions are getting to me now.
All right, so T, how about you tell us, what was your favorite moment this season?
Can I just start by saying, champion, champion. Let me got that out of the way. Daddy, don't look at me like that.
It's going to be a long video, innit? It's going to be one long video.
For me, it was two moments, really. The first one, I'd say, was when we beat Man City 3-0. It was like October, November. And I think that's when we started to build a big lead. And I think that's the moment where I started to believe that really we could win the title this season. That was a defining game. You could tell how significant that game was because I think we were 6 points ahead. I think we were 9 points ahead after we beat them. And I just didn't look back from that moment. But I think the main one after that was when we beat Leicester 4-0, which was around Christmas time. Because we'd just come back from Qatar, we played the Club World Cup, and everyone expected the team to be fatigued and would probably drop points around that period. And Leicester were second, I believe, at the time. And people were even discussing them as being like title contenders. So for us to have gone away to Qatar, played them 2 games, extra time, and then came back, and then within a couple of days went away to Leicester and beat them 4-0, like convincingly. Like the performance was like one of the best I've seen like from a Liverpool team ever. I think that was the day I knew like we are going to be champions. So I think I picked that one probably over the Man City one, but those two were like defining moments this season.
I think I can remember when we were all in the group chat talking about how Liverpool had too many games in succession and that they had to lose games at some point. When you're talking about the Carabao Cup, where they had to play the kids, same in the FA Cup, Club World Cup, Premier League, Champions League. Even honestly, Danny, between the two of us, right, we generally thought that they were going to lose somewhere along the lines, right?
Oh, when they lost to, my moment, yeah, when they played Sheffield United. I remember Dean Henderson and the spillage. Like, after that game, I thought, wow, they've made it by the skin of their teeth. It's going to start now. But they proved everyone wrong, man. You come back from Qatar and you do that, like I said, and you beat Man City, you know. The only one bad thing was they lost 5-0 to Aston Villa, didn't they, in the FA Cup? But then they played their kids. So, you know what I mean?
There's not to do about this. So, okay, let me ask you a question, right? I'll start with Tariq and then, Danny, you answer whenever you're ready, right? There's multiple things that you have to do in order to become successful, right? Any club, you can't just say that it's just one thing. But if you could attribute this season to one thing, actually, do you know what? In the last 5 years, right, since Jurgen Klopp took over, has it been 5 years now? 4 years even?
4.5 years, yeah.
4.5 years, right? Let's say from the moment that they signed Jurgen Klopp up until this moment here, if you could choose one thing that you thought was the biggest reason why they won the title, what would you attribute it to?
To me, it's got to be the two biggest signings they made, which was Van Dijk and Alisson. Because I think the first few years Klopp was there, you could clearly see the football and the philosophy that he wanted. Like even those players who probably weren't at like a championship level were implementing his style, and Liverpool was still like an entertaining team to watch. You could see they were scoring 4 or 5 goals, but they'd concede 3 or 4 as well. They'd win a game 6-0, they'd draw a game 3-3. It was a bit all over the place. I think it was 2 years ago, the year they even got to the Champions League final, just before Van Dijk came, and he played a front four of Salah, Firmino, Mane, and Coutinho, and they were just unbelievable. Like, they were scoring goals for fun, but he had Moreno in defence and Lovren and Mignolet in goal. It was just like a car crash, and like all the memes you see on social media was like a Ferrari at the front with a Nissan Micra at the back. And they put the two of them together. So the team was always like dysfunctional from that moment. But you could see like Jurgen Klopp's football was always there. Like, they'd always score goals. Like, they'll be a fun team to watch. But like neutral fans or fans of other rival teams just love the fact that Liverpool could crumble at any moment. So the fact that once Van Dijk came, obviously he helped the defense. It was a unit. Because if you put Van Dijk with Lovren and Moreno and all these guys, like, it wasn't any better. Like, you saw the Champions League final where the goalkeeper made the mistakes. I don't want to say his name. I refuse to ever say his name again.
Karius.
But even Van Dijk can't help that. You know what I mean? He helped to an extent. But then the moment Alisson came and those two together, I think made the difference. Because you've got a world-class defender and a world-class keeper. And as people always say, to win championships, you need to build from the back.
Yeah.
So once he made those two signings, on top of like the philosophy he already had, the attack was already there. I think it just all came together nicely. So this season, I'll say it was more of a collective. But I think the defining bits were just those two signings in particular.
I agree. I think getting rid of Coutinho, he was the small salvation, you know what I mean? And the money they used from him to buy those players, that's what it was. It's his philosophy as well. I think that club, if you look at that club, right, that club, with all due respect, part of the players in that club are rejects. You're talking like Mo Salah. He wasn't really being there at Chelsea. Sadio Mane, Firmino, they don't come from big clubs. Andy Robertson was playing in 4th League Scottish football after he got released by Celtic. But it's the fact that I think him as a person, he really gets you to buy into him, and he really gets one another to buy into it. And like you said, as a collective, they're like a full family. Like, everyone plays a role, but look how beautiful they play. Firmino is a prime example. He's not the one that gets all the goals. He leaves that to Salah and Mane. But he's the glue in between them that sticks them together. So I just think his whole philosophy, the way he plays his football, and the ability he has to get people on the same page, man. And you know what? I know I'm a Man United fan, but it is a beautiful thing to see. It has been that whole rebuild from where they were when they were playing like Ricky Lambert against Real Madrid, you know what I mean, to Andy Carroll saga, all of that, to what they are now. It's been phenomenal.
But I think Man United fans, more than anyone, can appreciate what Liverpool have got right now. Because this is
what we're going to do now.
That's what we had 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, when you trusted your team to win at all costs, like that shock factor that you would get from even drawing a game.
Yeah.
That's what Liverpool fans are experiencing now. We used to experience that for God.
Oh, yeah. Every game was a win for us. Every game.
No, we expected wins every single game, right? But I think more so than anything, it was the fact that Jurgen Klopp stuck with his guns, and he knew that whatever he was trying to do was going to take some time. And we know that we live in a day and age now where no one gets time. Either give me your results now or get through the door, because I can get someone that can win me at least a trophy today, in the likes of Jose Mourinho, in the lines of maybe even Sarri, maybe even, it doesn't matter, right? But he stuck with his guns. And I think it was more so this season than last season is where he adapted the tactics slightly enough where they weren't concerned about people sitting back anymore. Because like 3-4 years ago, and this is Man United right now, is if you come and attack, you're open, we'll score 3 goals, we'll score 4 goals, 5 goals. We might concede, but we're going to score goals. However, if you now start talking about the teams that sit back, your Burnleys, your Stokes, your Bournemouths, how do you break up a team like that when you haven't really got the style of play to break it up? And that's with Man United, that's what we're struggling with. But Liverpool figured that out. And I think that plays a massive factor with that as well. But let's get into another question that I have, right? We were arguing about this in the in our WhatsApp group. Does the season count, Danny? Does it count?
I know I've said before, like, obviously it doesn't. And Troy Deeney did come out with those comments about the fact that he feels sorry for the Liverpool players because of the integrity and all this nonsense. At the end of the day, I know mathematically they didn't win the league until, obviously, the game where Chelsea played Man City. But by Christmas time, they were on top. They were on top by a considerable amount of points. We kind of knew that they were going to win it anyway. So to be respectful and to be courteous, it does count. And even if they had aspects of it, they've still won the league, have they not? You know what I mean? Still going to lift the trophy. So I think that's, if I'm honest with you, that whole COVID-19 situation, and it doesn't count. You've had 5,000 water breaks. I just think it's the last thing for people to hold on to. You know, the heart is so bitter that they've won, so they've got nothing else to hold on to, so they hold on to that.
Yeah, I mean, it has to count because you can't forget everything that went up to March. You know, for a team to be 25 points ahead, they were just 2 wins away. The fact that they've won it within 2 games of just coming back, and now they have 7 games. Like it's the earliest anyone's ever won a title.
Yeah.
So and you can't take that away from them. They within the first week of the league coming back, they've won it. So it just shows how close they were and how dominant they were up until this point. I mean, for them to have been that far ahead of a team as good as Man City, like you just got to give them the credit where it's due. And I don't think anything can be put beside it. I mean, if the title race was even slightly close, if it was maybe even 10, 15 points, once they drew the first game with Everton and then Man City won the 2 games, they could have just brought it back down to about 10 points. It could have been something. And then maybe towards the end of the season, like if the games actually mattered, maybe we could look back on it. But the fact that they were so far ahead, and everyone knew by December it was over. Like you can't really take anything away from them, and especially when they've waited this long to have got so close last year, and then to have come back from that disappointment to have won it in this style. Like you can't really take anything away from them, I don't think.
Do you know? I think the teams that should be complaining, we shouldn't be complaining about Liverpool per se, because like T said, like you said, Danny, that title was gone a long time ago. That was done before lockdown even started, right? So yes, people said mathematically you haven't won, but there's a reason why they were ahead by so many points, right? And even though mathematically, yeah, they hadn't won it, but in reality, they did, right? In reality, they did. If they mustered that many points and they're on course to break in Man City's record, what are the chances that they're going to lose every single game from now on? Even if they had injuries to Van Dijk or an injury to Salah or an injury to Mane, they are still winning 2 games, right? But it's more so your Sheffield Uniteds, your Man Uniteds, your Chelseas, your Wolves, whoever's in relegation. Those people can complain about the position they're in. Man City can't complain. No one else could complain about that. So I don't know. But let's move on to the last question that I got for you guys, right? What do Liverpool have to do to repeat and become even more successful next season? Is it even possible to be more successful next season than they were this season?
It's possible because like they can win the Premier League and the Champions League in 1 year, which is like probably the hardest thing to do. And they came like within a point of doing it last year.
So Man United done that twice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the hardest thing to do. That's like
Man United done it twice, right?
But they haven't exactly. I'm sure you guys can say how hard it is to do. So, like for them to go from just winning one each year to winning them both in 1 year, just like they'll be like undisputed best team in the world at that point. So that's what they can do. Obviously, you can clearly see this season they're probably prioritizing one over the other, but like that's the only way they can probably get more successful, by just winning a treble. And you know, more or less they gave up the FA Cup and all the others this season. So maybe if they try and go for them, win a treble, win 4 or 5 like trophies in one go. But it's so hard to do that, man.
Danny?
It's difficult because obviously we don't know where the league's going to end. Like if I was a Liverpool player now, I wouldn't think that we've won the league. I just carry on as if we haven't, because I'd like to smash that record that Man City have set for the points. You know what I mean? I'd want to be like, yo, we've won the Premier League and we've got this. But I could say they're in good contention to win the Premier League again. I think they need to bring in a couple of more recruitments over the summer, reinforcements. You know what I mean, in terms of players and stuff like that. And squad depth as well, because say they have an injury to Salah or they have an injury to Mane, you know, where are they going to get the goals from?
Yeah, obviously. You know what, Danny, can I just pause you there for 1 second? We've been saying that all year.
Yeah.
We've been
saying they didn't get injured, did they?
But there's been times where they haven't played. The team has got ridiculous amount of depth. There was there not a moment they were playing a good team T? Please tell me who it was. Origi was playing. What team did they play now? I swear there was loads of players missing and they still ended up winning.
I think it might be the Everton game. Probably. At home, because...
lately, this was like way before lockdown started.
Oh, but was it this season?
Yeah, it was this season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the Everton game because they played them at home, and I think Origi, Shaqiri started, and Firmino and Salah didn't, and they won like 5-2.
That's the one. Yeah.
I remember, and he made a lot of changes.
Yeah, honestly, we've been saying. I've been saying all year. I don't think they can replace any injuries that they get to their star players. I think that only applies to Van Dijk because even Alisson was gone for ages. And look at the position they're in now. So I don't think it's necessarily injury. I don't even think they need depth, Danny. I just think they need continuity.
I mean, I'd like to see it there just because, like I said, obviously they did well against Everton, but you know, if they think about long-term injuries, bro, if there was a long-term injury like a Rashford injury or a Harry Kane injury, would you have? I mean, Divock Origi is a fantastic player when he comes off the bench, but would you have that much trust and faith in him? You've seen him play one game. Would you have that much to carry him for half a season, possibly? You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a toss-up.
I agree. I agree with Danny because, like, I really wanted him to sign Timo Werner. Like, for example, obviously he probably didn't want to sit on the bench. He probably didn't want to play as a backup. But once you win the Premier League, like this team, you could clearly see they were motivated by winning the Premier League. So even after winning Champions League, they still have something to fight for this year, and you can see that's what they wanted. And naturally, when you win something that you've wanted for so long, you're just gonna drop off a little bit. You're gonna get maybe a little complacent. Like mentally, you might not want it as much. So you just need to maybe make one or two signings to keep certain players on their toes. To add a bit of competition.
Healthy competition.
Yeah, a bit of competition always helps because I don't expect Liverpool to win as many games probably next season and like go as hard as they did this year. Like they'll still be hungry. Like I don't expect their motivation to drop, but I just think mentally something might just be off. And like even if the slightest little thing is off with this Liverpool team, like there might be a chance they might drop points next season. Like we've seen with Man City this year. Like compared Man City this year to last season, you can see in their heads they're like, we've won 2 Premier League titles. We're probably not. We're not going to go as hard. We probably want the Champions League a lot more.
I think they had injuries as well with Man City. They had a fair few injuries.
Anyway, guys, we're going to have to stop it there. Guys, thank you so much for coming again. T, congratulations and congratulations. And congratulations to all the Liverpool fans out there. That's it for us. Do you want to do the line for us, Danny? Do you want to do the line?
Guys, if you hate Liverpool, I'm sorry. If you like the video, like the video. And obviously, please keep up to date with all our videos. We appreciate you taking the time to watch them. We appreciate every single like. Every single like, what that does for us, it lets us build a little bit of notoriety so we can get on the main pages and we can continue creating that fabulous content. As Balak always says, we are a people show. We like to put the people first. So as well as that, there's a comment section below. If you've got any criticisms, if you've got anything, let us know. We want our product to be for you. So if you've got a problem with it, let us know. We'll change stuff around. And thank you once for tuning in.
Aye, and that's it for us. So, peace.